Welcome, everybody. It takes me a second to figure out the camera. I should know this by now. Ooh. All right. Welcome, YouTubers. Oh, my God. Every day, so freaking busy. Adjusting my belt as I talk to you in my Mr. Rogers sweater. I love this sweater. This is the sweater that I got in France for like $15 along the highway at the rest stop. Literally like French gas station sweater. Only in France could you get like a gorgeous sweater at the gas station. You know, $15. I was like, okay, I'll take two. So very excited. Hey, Syndicate. All right, guys. And we did have one final auction winner I cannot get a hold of. Tom Betty. I think it's a woman. The woman's picture, but it's like THOMBTTE 222. If she's around or anybody knows her, let her know. Otherwise, I'm going to go to the number 2 on the list, who I think is a regular. Actually, I need to look and see who the number 2 is on the list, just so I see. But otherwise, all the other auction folks we got a hold of, which is good. So I was very glad about that. Actually, yeah, let me do one more time on that one. I'm going to look really quick just in case the other person is here. All right. The other one before Tom Betty was K9 Nanny, who we've done before. I mean, she's bought stuff before, I think. So hopefully we can, if Tom Betty don't get back to me by tomorrow, doesn't get back, whoever, then hopefully we can find K9 Nanny. So Syndicate has always been our policeman. He has been policing against the evil trolls quite effectively, actually. He's been doing new and wonderful things on the Discord to capture our spies. So it's been quite good. Oh, you voted today in Georgia? Nice. French gas station jacket. Yeah, this was in, like northern France, like on the way to Normandy, but it was just, they had these wonderful sweaters. This sweater's lasted me. I mean, this sweater's probably 15 years old. That's the other funny thing. This thing's lasted me. I haven't been to France in 10 years. So it's lasted a good 15 years, this thing. Oh, nephew's coming in. All right. Oh, hello. Let me get this rolling on TikTok now.
Got some chocolate mousse cups from Costco if you want one.
Oh, fun. Okay, doing my show. Afterwards, yes.
Yeah.
Nephew's got chocolate mousse cups. So, yeah, I'll put them in the fridge, I'm assuming, or something. Yeah. Oh, yay. I haven't tried those before. All right. Yay. Chocolate mousse cups from Costco. Yay. Wanda the Witch. Hold on. I'm looking at the gifts here. That Wanda's too expensive. The cauldron's good. The Wanda the Witch is too expensive. I can't ask people to do those. Too expensive. All right. There we go. All right. Go live. Excellent. All right. Hang on, guys. Get my mirror. There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. All right. Let's give a minute here for TikTok to arrive. All right. I'm calming down now. Every day is just so busy. Actually, I got most of the auction items packaged up. They're ready to go. Actually, they're all packaged up. I just have to get the last person to pay. But otherwise, hopefully drop them at the post office tomorrow, maybe. Thank you, Jean-Marquis. So that was good. How's everybody doing today? How are we doing? Trev, Ashley. Hey, Ash. Thanks, Ash. I was telling you already, this is my French gas station sweater. I love this sweater. And it's going on probably 15 years old now, probably 13, 15 or more. Or more, I think, actually. I got this thing so many years ago, and it just holds in there. Thank you, Super Hornet. Thank you, Bjorn, for the gifts, guys. Paula, yes, I went with what you said, Paula. Thank you, Crazy American. And I ended up adding I did like the address, the first line of the address. I did comma, that first name, and then the city for the second name and the state for the third name. And hopefully somebody in England figures it out, or in the UK, wherever the hell you are. I assume you're in England. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Shelly. But yeah, it should work out okay. Multiple gifts from Shelly. Thank you, Shelly. Appreciate that. Oh, man. Anybody stressing about the election? I think we're all stressing about the election. Shouldn't be close. It is. It's kind of crazy. Trump is going crazier. Trump is getting weirder. Actually, I might as well start with this. I was going to put it as a later story. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Larissa. Thank you, Carol. Please do keep the gifts coming, guys. I do this for a living and I do it full time. Your gifts help pay the bills, so please keep them coming. But yeah, Trump had a very weird moment last night that it's funny. Even the Washington Post, the media is trying to be very, thank you, user 336. They're trying to be so fair to Trump that they're kind of ignoring the fact that he's a fascist and a violent and a pig and anti-American and everything else. That they're kind of trying to be this like, oh, he's like every other candidate. We already talked about him being a fascist who wants violence and wants to overthrow the government. We talked about that already, right? But Trump last night Trump last night was doing a town hall meeting or town hall with a bunch of voters and went through a couple questions. One voter fainted or something. Thank you, Jorge. That was in the audience. So they, of course, wait for her to get, some help. And Trump tells them to start playing Ave Maria. So they're playing Ave Maria in the background as this woman is getting medical help. A second person faints. Trump again has them play Ave Maria, totally bizarre. And Trump then and Trump hadn't been doing, this was like a couple hours, supposed to be a couple hours of questions. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, Elizabeth. A couple hours of Trump getting asked questions by, friendly Republican voters. So he gets like a couple questions from voters, not that many. A couple of people pass out, and Trump goes, I think it's boring or something like that, answering questions. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, Elizabeth. Like, you don't want to hear my answers, Pedro. Let's listen to music instead. For 39 minutes, Trump played a bunch of different songs while he did that weird little dance he does on stage. Thank you, adventurers. And that was the rest of Trump's town hall meeting. He answered a couple questions, and instead of going on for an hour or two, which he's supposed to do, he just said, let's play music instead, and played 39 minutes, 39 minutes of songs. He started with the most gayest rendition ever of Ti Partito or whatever it is, the Partito, the Andrea Bocelli song, but it's done with some other woman, gayest version ever. And for Trump, that says something. He had them play YMCA, which again, gayest song ever. Republicans love to play the YMCA song. You guys know what the YMCA song is about. It's about hooking up with other guys at a gay bathhouse. It's all about finding sex with anonymous strangers. And it just always cracks me up that Republicans love that song. They love that song. And they're like, why? And you're like, you're singing about having gay sex. Yay. It's just the goofiest. Oh, yeah, it is, Paula. It is. That's exactly what it's about, because they're having fun at the YMCA. Yes, they're not having fun swimming at the YMCA. Which is what I did as a kid. I used to have to take swimming lessons at the YMCA as a kid. Hated it, but I know how to swim, because I'm always surprised when I meet people who don't know how to swim. So thank you, Mom, for making me swim, even though I hated the lessons at the YMCA. In any case, so it was very weird. So Trump did this literally 39 minutes last night of playing not Christmas, just songs. Like he played some U2, I think. He played some Rufus Wainwright, not Rufus, but I think he may have played the Rufus Wainwright version. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Alan, for the gifts. The Rufus Wainwright version of Hallelujah. Remember, like, that song? And so he did that. It was very weird. It was very weird. Thank you, Running. Now, I mentioned this not just because honestly, there's a larger pattern here. Trump also just canceled a major interview with CNBC, which is one of the big American conservative. I'd say conservative because it's a business network. It's all about Wall Street and stuff. Thank you, Running, for the gifts. He canceled a big interview with 60 Minutes a week ago. There's something going on with him. I mean, there's something going on with the guy. He's not. I mean, Trump's always been goofy. But Trump's always been a weirdo, right? I mean, we know that. But he's been like slowing down. And last night, especially, I'm telling you, like, the last couple of days I've had like a little cold or something. And like last night, I did the show, but after an hour, I was getting tired. And I told you guys, like, my throat was bothering me. And I just kind of wanted to end the show. That's kind of the way Trump is acting. Like one of his public appearances about a week ago. Thank you, Courtney. And I kid you not, this was Trump at his public appearance. I remember he was kind of like standing sideways too. He was standing kind of sideways, reading the thing. And this is in front of an audience of voters that he's just kind of doing this at an event. I mean, it was weird. It was very strange. In any case, all right, let's go on. So polling, Trump holds a slight lead over. Now, this is according to Harvard poll. Trump holds a slight lead over Harris in battleground states. In early voting polls show a total of 48% of voters who said they would vote early in so-called swing states. Swing states are the key, most important states. 48% say they're supporting Trump. 47% supporting Harris. Thank you, Scotty. What is important to note, which they don't hear, that's within the margin of error. You've always got to take that when they interview people like this and do polling and everything else, there's always a margin of error. And if you're within like 1 percentage point, it's a tie. So he's not really ahead, but it's a tie for early voting. That's still interesting because early voting tends to help Democrats a lot. It tends to be massively pro-Democratic. Georgia announced really like massive early voting in the state of Georgia, another really important key state. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Courtney. I will say that overall, early voting does favor Democrats. So when you read about massive numbers of people voting early, generally speaking, that's still pretty good for Democrats, generally speaking. A little bit more here. Oh, this is good news from Georgia. So county election officials in Georgia cannot delay or decline to certify election results. A state judge ruled Monday, dealing a blow to an effort by conservatives in the critical battleground state to broaden their powers. Basically, Republicans were trying to find ways to let Republican officials in states not report the votes. Oh, thank you, K. Oh, you're there, K9 Nanny. I was just saying, some woman outbid you for whatever it was on the Discord, but I can't get a hold of her. And if I can't get a hold of her by tomorrow, I'm going to offer it to you. It was the, what was this? Hang on. Hello. Thank you for the gifts there, guys. I got to tell K9. It was the, let me pull this up and take a look. Take a look. You don't have to, but if you want, I'll tell you tomorrow. Come on. It was, it was the really cool magnifying glass. It's the cool Art Nouveau magnifying glass. The other woman is non-existent. If I don't hear from her sometime tomorrow, I will then offer it to you for your bid. And your bid was $60 if you're still cool. It's up to you. You're not beholden, but think about it. That was K9 Nanny because she was the number 2 bidder. And the number 1 bidder is so far missing in action. So just be aware. Yeah, the cool little Art Nouveau magnifying glass made by elves, as we talked about. All right. What else we got? Oh, Georgia. No. Oh, this was big news though. So the court ruled today. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll give till tomorrow. And if the other woman doesn't get back to me by tomorrow, I'll reach out to you. And then I'll just take your bid instead of hers. Yours was like $5 cheaper, which is fine. I'm just glad somebody gets it and appreciates it because it's really pretty. I just didn't want to turn it over to charity. And I don't even know if charity will take it. It looks like it's like any case. Thank you, Kathy Story, for the gift. All right. So what the Republicans were doing is they're trying to slow down vote counts. Donald Trump did this last time. And Donald Trump his staff announced he was going to do this last time, that they know that the Democrats with all the early voting, it takes a while to count the votes and stuff. So typically election night, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Hellianne. Typically election night, the first votes that come in are from the voting machines that day. They push a button, the votes are ready, right? Thank you, Ellie. And Republicans tend to do very well. We know this. Democrats vote early, Republicans vote day of. So those first votes that come in from the voting machines that day are Republican votes. So you get all this news going, oh my God, Trump's ahead, bup, bup, bup. Then as the evening goes on, they start counting the absentee votes, the votes that come in early. And what do you know? The Trump's lead starts getting smaller. Well, Trump, his people had announced with the last election, right, with Biden, that they were going to basically lie and go public. Thank you, Diana, for the gift. They were going to lie and go public. And thank you, Joe, for subscribing. And say, oh my God, we were ahead early in the evening and now suddenly we're not ahead anymore. Obviously they cheated, right? Because according to the vote at 8 o'clock, we won. Well, the vote at 8 o'clock, there was 3% of the vote in. But they even announced this in advance that they were going to do this. This time, and that's one of Trump's arguments. Trump says, well, we went to bed that night and we won, and the next morning we lost. And it was like, no. In any case, so what Republicans were going to do is they empowered the local precincts, the local voting areas in Georgia, for example, among other states. They tried to empower the local officials to say, I'm just not sure that I believe Trump lost. I'm not going to count the vote. I'm not going to report the vote. I'm going to sit on it for a while, maybe a day or 2, 3. And they wanted to do this because they want to sow confusion. They want to be able to give Trump time to just maybe call out the military. I don't know, right? I mean, Trump, it's going to be violence. It's going to be everything. The longer he drags it out and drags out the confusion, the longer he drags out not reporting the vote, maybe he's got a chance of stealing the election somehow, right? Thank you, Janice, for the boo the ghost. In any case, so the court came out today and said Georgia can't do that. They cannot delay the vote counting, which is great. Kamala Harris is going to sit down with Fox News anchor Brett Baier on Wednesday for her first ever interview on the right-wing network. This is very interesting. Fox News, I'm assuming, I never never know what the Europeans. I'm assuming. Are Europeans generally familiar with what Fox News is? Thank you, Diana. I think you get it on cable over there. I always forget. Thank you, Iggy. Like I've seen it. I think I've seen Fox News on some of the international programming when I go to Europe. I always forget. But Fox News is the lead right wing Republican, not even right wing. It's the lead Republican TV network here in the States. Yes, you do. Okay, Sally. Thank you, Helene, for the gift. Well, Kamala is going to sit down with Brett Baier, one of the hosts on Fox News. What's interesting about that is Brett Baier is pretty good. He's a pretty decent journalist, actually. He's been critical of Trump. A number of them have been, somewhat critical, not horribly critical, but somewhat. He's not a terrible journalist. So it's actually quite interesting that she's choosing to do this. I don't know. I'm not sure what she's up to. I think, honestly, my suspicion is her people know what all the rest of us know, which is the election is too close. It's kind of a tie, and they need to get every little vote they can. And if she can go and convince some of the Trump voters on Fox, not even Trump voters, some of the Fox News watchers to watch her and go, you know what? She's not that bad. Then she could get a couple extra votes, right? So very interesting that she's doing that. She's also doing a lot of outreach now to Black male voters. Black men are being less supportive of Kamala Harris than they were of previous, Democratic presidents. The thinking is that everything I'm reading on this says it's sexism. It's Black men not wanting to support a woman for president. And therefore, she is doing a lot of outreach to Black men. She's going on she's going on Charlemagne the God or whatever the hell his name is, some podcast. He's big. I don't know. I mean, I know who the guy is because I've heard of him, but I don't know who he is. But he's big. She's going on his podcast. Also, I heard that she's considering. She's on it right now. Oh, good. Okay, Kep says she's doing a very frank interview with Charlemagne the God right now on CNN. Oh, good. Okay, good. The other thing is, I heard that's exactly what Lynn just said. I heard that she might be going on Joe Rogan's show too. Now, honestly, I think that's not a terrible idea. I mean, Joe Rogan is an idiot. I mean, he's this podcaster, again, very famous, huge following among young men and this kind of stuff in America. He's not very smart. He's big on conspiracy theories. But I will say this. I don't watch him regularly or listen to him regularly. But I get the impression that Joe Rogan is basically a nice guy, right? Well, I mean, his shtick is nice. Like, you watch his show. Thank you, Mustard. I watch his show whenever I've seen clips of it, and I never get the sense of, oh my God, here's like a mean, angry person, right? I think she could do very well on his show. He likes to discuss, and he always says, well, I'm just asking questions. I just want to know. I think she would be great in that context because he could, if he says something wrong, she goes, well, actually, Joe, let me tell you the truth on what's actually happening with that. Trump, you're getting the wrong data. But right, to be able to, I think two things. One, hitting his audience could be interesting, but I have a feeling he might be rather, I don't think he's curious, Jens says. Exactly. I don't watch the guy enough, but I don't get the sense that he's rude or mean. Right. So I don't see him being, yeah, he's good at active listening. No, exactly. Like at first I thought, oh God, Joe Rogan. And then I thought, a smart woman on the Rogan show could actually be very interesting, because I think he'll listen and he'll kind of go, okay, that's interesting. And he'll say, what about this? And she's smart. She's going to, okay, well, let me actually tell you about that, and she'll explain. And I think at least he, first of all, may come away, because think about this too. You've got the next 3 weeks of Joe Rogan's podcast. You want Joe, every time the election comes up, going, well, we interviewed Kamala Harris. He's going to want to mention it anyway. Thank you, Ellie, for the potato in Paris. He's going to want to mention it anyway. And thank you, Luis, for the postcards, because it helps him look good. Like, I interviewed Kamala Harris. But you then want him to say, she was really interesting. I liked her. He could say, I don't know if I'm going to vote for her, but I kind of liked her. She was good. She was smart. Like, you want him to keep telling that to his viewers. Anyway, I'm coming around on this. Like I said, initially I was like, huh. And now I'm like, okay, I think this is actually a good idea. Yeah, Chesky. No, I agree. He is friends with Elon. I mean, this gets into the whole, that's what I mean. Like, Rogan is, one step away from crazy land nowadays. But I still think I still think she could do a good job being on his show. The cat litter. Oh, he spread a lot of stuff. I don't remember what the cat litter story was. What was that, Bob? I know Rogan spread like a lot of misinformation about COVID and everything else, but still, could be interesting. Thank you, Warren. What else here? So lots of Trump lies today. Big surprise. JD Vance, who's Trump's vice president, claimed today that Trump didn't go after his political opponents as president. I think this was CNN, did a wonderful fact check from Daniel Dale. Listen to this. So Vance today, thank you, Marie, thank you, Frequency Mean, and Warren, says Trump never went after his political opponents as president. Total freaking lie. I mean, again, every step of Trump's presidency was doing this. Presidency, listen to this from CNN. Total lie. There is a long list of political opponents who Trump publicly called for the Justice Department and others to investigate or prosecute. The list includes not only 2016 election opponent Hillary Clinton and 2020 election opponent Joe Biden, but also Biden's son Hunter Biden, Democratic former Secretary of State John Kerry, Trump's former national security advisor turned critic John Bolton, Democratic former President Barack Obama, unspecified Obama administration officials, the anonymous author of a New York Times op-ed by a Trump administration official critical of Trump, MSNBC host and Trump critic Joe Scarborough, former FBI director James Comey, other former FBI officials, former British spy Christopher Steele, various congressional Democrats, including former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Representative Adam Schiff, Representative Ilhan Omar, Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, and Senator Mark Warner of Virginia. Again, he's a pathological liar. It's not normal. It's not funny. I mean, and I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing. It's not funny. It's really weird. Thank you, Frequency. It's just very. Did he call them for an investigation of Alec Baldwin? I wouldn't be surprised. Trump also lied today about his health records. Kamala Harris has been going after Trump pretty strong, saying that there's kind of something wrong with him. He has been taking the bait. He turned around, which is very funny. He turned around like yesterday. I mentioned this on the show. He turned around yesterday and goes, "There's something wrong with her. She's got a mental problem. She's got a cognitive problem. She's slow. You can tell when you can listen to her. She's sick." And you're just kind of going, dude. Kamala Harris is like the least. You can disagree with her. No human being looks at Kamala Harris and goes, "She's not very smart and she's very slow and quiet." She ain't slow and quiet, right? It's like calling me slow and quiet. Well, Trump responds by saying, "I've put out more medical exams than any other president in history." He's lying. By the way, Trump, I don't think has ever released, let me rephrase, I don't think. Trump has never released his medical records, ever. Every president has, in recent memory, up until Trump. Trump has not. Trump has not released like a single medical record. Trump, remember 2016, Trump had his really weird hippie doctor, the guy who looked like he put his finger in an electrical socket, his hair was all over the place, and had him release a really weird letter about Trump. And it was like a one paragraph letter. It was just a very weird, like, okay, this says nothing. Then Trump has a physical, that's Ronnie Johnson later on. Trump has a physical with Ronnie Johnson, the White House doctor, and the White House doctor comes out, doesn't release, again, Trump's information at all, but says, he's the healthiest man ever. I wouldn't be surprised if he lives to be 200. And we're all going, huh? And Trump was obese. This was the year that, by the way, that they claimed Trump grew an inch at age 73. Trump did not grow an inch at age 73. Guys actually get smaller as they get older. They don't get taller in their 70s. But they had to say that so Trump wouldn't be morbidly obese. Because if they didn't make Trump 6'3", Trump used to be 6'1". Then he was 6'2". Now he's 6'3". If Trump weren't 6'3", he'd be morbidly obese. So we think that he added the inch in order to make the calculation be, okay, he needs to lose a little weight, but he's not. Again, morbidly obese sounds really bad. Okay. So Trump has not released any medical records. He hasn't released the medical records now either. That's like nothing there. This was my favorite. He went after Kamala Harris's medical record. Kamala Harris's medical records. She released hers. There's nothing in them. I mean, meaning cholesterol's fine, her heart is fine, no disease, whatever. The two big thing in Kamala Harris's medical records were seasonal allergies and hives. Hives, like you get itchy, and seasonal allergies. And Trump responded because that's it. Like her doctor said everything else was fine. Those are the only things she's got problems, basically. She's got allergies. So Trump responded today and said, said, listen to this. Trump responded and said, "Oh, Ron, we've got a Russian troll here today. Hi, Ron. Ron, you've got to do a better job at this, or Putin's not going to, or I would be careful what tea you drink." I'm sitting here laughing. So, by the way, I've told you guys this, how bad the trolls are, because first, I don't think they speak English. They're either bots, they're automated, or they're Russians. They're foreigners, or they're Africans, but they're people who are paid to do this, who don't understand the language. Ron came out and said, "Stop crying." He literally said it when I was laughing, talking about what Trump said about Kamala Harris's illness. And I'm laughing, and Trump goes, "Stop crying." Right? Remember I told you this, how they don't understand the language. They get talking points and they just read the talking points. Now, it's also possible that they're totally automated. Now with AI, this stuff could be totally fake anyway. But I stop and just have to tell you, because I think it's part of my job to educate you guys how to look for this stuff. But that's one of the best ways to look for this, is when they make a comment that makes no sense whatsoever with regards to what we're talking about, right? Like, "Oh, you're crying." No, I'm laughing. Actually, let me tell you why I'm laughing. So this is great. So Trump says, in response to Kamala Harris saying she's got allergies, he says, "Allergies and hives are deeply serious conditions that clearly impact her functioning." Allergies, seasonal allergies is a deeply serious condition that clearly impacts her functioning. I mean, like, it just, he's like, I've always sort of thought the same way. Trump is a Russian troll. That's probably the best way. Trump's a Russian troll. That's the best way to put it. Literally, they give him the talking points. He just reads them. They don't make sense, right? "Oh, Kamala Harris admitted today she's deeply ill with allergies." Kamala Harris, she's clearly got cognitive decline. No, she doesn't, right? I mean, he doesn't care that there's no connection at all. No connection at all. Anyway, all right, let me move on here. Trump lied about the insurrection today. Another lie. What a surprise. Trump lied about the election today. He said at that the rally in Washington, D.C. he held, that he then sicked people to go to the Capitol and try to overthrow our government. It was all about love and peace. The rally was all love and peace. He claimed that the insurrectionists, the domestic terrorists that Trump sent to the Capitol, that broke into the Capitol, several police officers ended up dying. They beat the police officers. Trump said that they were waved into the Capitol by the police, that the police welcomed them. They didn't break into the Capitol. CNN writes, about 140 police officers were assaulted while trying to stop the mob from breaching the Capitol, and CNN obtained footage from police body-worn cameras showing how dozens of officers engaged in hand-to-hand combat with rioters in a desperate effort to keep them out of the building. The most famous one was that young guy that was in the doorway, and the Trump supporters are crushing him. He's halfway through the door, and they're crushing him in the doorway, and he's screaming for help because they're just trying to kill him, right? We're getting to Ukraine next, DJ. They're trying to kill him. And Trump, of course, yeah, totally happy. Trump also said today, thank you, Succeed, that not one of those people had a gun that attacked the Capitol. Thank you, Grumpy. CNN says people who illegally entered Capitol grounds during the insurrection were armed with a wide variety of weapons, including guns. He lied. Lieutenant Hodges, that's it. He lies about everything. It just, you know this. Let's move on to Ukraine. Speaking of Ukraine, we can move on to Ukraine now. Thank you, Bill. There is not a ton of Ukraine news. And actually, the Ukraine news is not great today, I will say. But, as I say, what differentiates us from the lesser animals and MAGA is I tell you the truth. Thank you, Courtney. Russia has reportedly recaptured almost half the territory of the Kursk region, the region that the Ukrainians were able to get away from Russia. Thank you, Marsha. Russia's been occupying like 18% of Ukraine. Ukraine was able to occupy a part of Russia. And the reports out today are the Russians might have gotten back, I think it's 46% or so of the land. The Russians are claiming this. I don't ever trust what the Russians say. But Institute for the Study of War, there's a very good defense think tank, pro-Ukrainian. They say that, let me see here what they said exactly. They said that they have seen visual evidence. Thank you, K9 Nanny. They've seen visual evidence that Russia has recaptured 46% of its territory in Kursk. That's bad. Hi, Davika. That's not English. Are you a Harris Iran lover? That's not English. If you're going to troll, we require our trolls to speak proper English. It's just kind of a thing we do here. If you're going to troll, I expect you to troll well. Okay. Hey, Vadim from Ukraine. How are you? Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Let me go here. Kyiv Independent. North Korea. Oh, this is getting weird. The North Korean news is getting weird. Kyiv Independent reports North Korea has sent 10,000 soldiers to Russia to boost its war efforts against Ukraine, according to a Western diplomat who told the Kyiv Independent this today. The Western diplomat told the Kyiv Independent that it's unclear what kind of soldiers they are or what their roles are. 18 North Korean soldiers already reportedly have deserted. That was the news today. We don't know if it's true. But the news today was that 18 of the North Koreans that went to Ukraine to help the Russians have already run to the Ukrainian side and gone, take me. Think about this. I mean, this is the wild card with there's a lot of wild cards with North Korea. Crazy government. I mean, the worst communist, not the worst communist, the worst dictatorship on the planet in North Korea. It is a communist dictatorship as well, but it's just a terrible dictatorship period, the worst on the planet. And it would not be surprising if the North Koreans go to fight in Ukraine, like in occupied Ukraine with the Russians, and just turn themselves into the Ukrainians and go, yay. Now, the only thing is, if they've got family back home, it depends, because North Korea, brutal dictatorship. These guys try to defect and their family could be shot. So that's the one, thank you, Mel, for subscribing. That's sort of the one sort of wild card, but I still think you're going to have a lot of North Koreans defect, because if they can get out of that hellhole and get to Ukraine, first of all, Ukraine's pretty good. Ukraine, you're one step away from Europe once you're in Ukraine. And Americans, you're kidding? Americans would love to get their hands on the North Koreans, as far as that goes. And I mean, the Europeans too. They would be welcomed in the West. All right, a little more here. The Warzone has seen a similar. Warzone's a good military publication. Warzone has seen a similar report. Thousands of North Korean troops are being trained to provide combat power in Ukraine to help Russia make up for mounting losses. According to reports, the move is part of a growing alliance between Moscow and Pyongyang. The North Koreans will form part of the Special Buryat Battalion, organized within the 11th Separate Airborne Assault Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces, according to Ukrainian media. The battalion is expected to include up to 3,000 North Korean troops and is currently being supplied with small arms and ammunition. Starting in, thank you. Who's that? Marsha. Thank you, Marsha, for the gift. Thank you, Cassandra, too. Starting in 2025, Ukrainians with, diabetes, bronchial asthma, and other illnesses in Russian-occupied territories will lose access to free medications unless they acquire Russian passports. So the Russians, because they're claiming all the area they're occupying in Ukraine is now Russia, they're trying to force the Ukrainians there to become Russians, and they're cutting off jobs. They're cutting off, benefits, financial benefits. They're now going to cut off medical benefits to everybody unless they say, yes, I'm a Russian, and declare themselves Russian and get a Russian passport. So very, very sad. And that is it for the news. Like I said, there is not a ton of news. It's not great news. Obviously, we're waiting for the election. That's going to be the biggest news for Ukraine. It's close, guys. Thank you, PC Noel. I think the election is still up for grabs. I mean, it is up for grabs. It shouldn't be up for grabs. It's sick that it's up for grabs, but it's up for grabs. So very crazy. Is what legal? Sure, the Russians could. I mean, well, it may not be legal. No, it may be a war. I shouldn't say sure. It could be a war crime, occupying territory and declaring that if you don't sort of profess your undying love for the occupier and say, I want to be one of your citizens, you're going to cut off their medical care. Yeah, it's probably not legal. Russia doesn't care. They're a police state. They're already war criminals. They were already indicted. Putin was indicted by the International Criminal Court for war crimes. So yeah. But no, good point. It's disgusting. Yeah. Biden needs to release long-range weapons use. He does. He absolutely does. Oh boy, sorry guys. Hey, for peace. Nordic Warrior, why would these 18 North Korean soldiers be so precious to both us and Europe? Aren't they just regular soldiers who aren't that high up in the food chain? Yes, but not a lot of information you can get out of North Korea. I mean, I don't work in intelligence, okay? But North Korea, very insular society, very shut off. We don't have access to North Korean citizens. I mean, at all. When you go to North Korea, they make sure you can't talk to anybody, or they let you talk to people they pick that are party apparatchiks, like party functionaries, right? Party officials. I would think that even talking, okay, especially somebody in North Korean military, even if you're low down in the military, you know how morale is, right? You know how supplies are. Do you get enough food? How much training do you get? Are people happy? Are they unhappy, right? What do they say about their family back home? How's their family back home? Do they have enough food, right? Are there jobs, right? How long does it take to get a job? Can you buy a car? Can you buy an apartment? Or how do you get an apartment? How long does it take to get an apartment? I mean, all of these things are interesting economic information and like I said, defense information too. How well nourished are the troops, right? I mean, do people have food? Anyway, it's a very, I think I'm not like in the intelligence community, but I think because North Korea is such a closed society, we don't get to talk to people. Any information you get, especially from a soldier who can just start to tell you day to day, you know? I mean, yeah, Joshua was saying we visibly see soldiers starving. There have been stories about soldiers starving. To know what kind of condition is the North Korean military in, I think would be really interesting. You thought it was Anderson Cooper. Thank you, Barb. Thank you. Hey, Danon, thank you for the gift. Aviation as well. So anyway, that's my take on it. Nordic. I think it could be a lot of intelligence. Yeah, from there. Yep. And even better. Well, also, and again, just knowing, do people like their commanders? Have you met any of the commanders? What have they said? Right? How do you feel about how do your fellow troops feel about being in Ukraine? Are they angry? Thank you, Marcia. You know, do people want to leave North Korea? Or if we were to offer money, do you think your fellow troops would defect? Right? What would we have to offer them to defect? Like a lot of information. See, now I'm already going through like all the possibilities in my head. Lots of information. Lots of ghosts there too. Thank you, Marcia, for the Boo the Ghost and Art for Change. And Maddie, keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate it. Maddie again, thank you. Anyway, yeah, what else, guys? So, yeah, Kim Jong-un looks well fed. Yeah, I look different because I cut my hair off a couple of weeks ago. Oh. Vadim, I don't know you. Otherwise, I would request you to join, but I don't. I try not to just add people to the show to come on live that I don't know who they are. Just because, like, I don't want to be rude, but you could be a Russian. You know what I mean? Like, we try to be careful about stuff like that. So if I can, try to reach out to me offline. But if we have any friends in common, I'd consider having you on, but I'd want to make sure you were real first before I had you come on, just to be careful because of the information I'm providing people about Ukraine. Thank you, Running, for the gifts. Lots of gifts from Running. Thank you, Jonathan. What else? One North Korean defector to South Korea tried to recross back into the North. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Thank you, Mike, for the gift. Thank you, Jonathan. That's interesting. Huh. That's interesting. I wonder why. Or I wonder if that was. Well, then again, you could miss home, miss your family. Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk is not quite right in the head. There's a number of problems with Elon Musk. He seems like literally not quite right. He also seems like he's got some emotional, psychological problems. He's kind of a little boy. He's incredibly insecure, very much like Trump in many ways. He also is very transparent. Like when I see Elon Musk say something or do something, to me, static sound. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Uh-oh. Now, interesting because it's just my phone sitting there. It shouldn't be doing any kind of static. Hold on. You guys are okay on TikTok, but YouTube is having static issues. I'm a little worried if I refresh the page, will I still be on the page? Remember, TikTok, YouTube doesn't let me actually change the source of where it's coming from. Okay, see how it is? Weird, though. Yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't be any static because I'm like not even touching anything on the computer. Okay, let me know. Weird. When I was leaning back, even weird because the chair goes crickety, but shouldn't. Yeah, this was on YouTube because I'm beaming on YouTube simultaneously. That's right. Dennis Rodman, go back for another visit to North Korea. I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't want to hit the MAGA people. Sorry, but good point. But Dabutalov says your truth will not be accepted by any MAGA cult worshippers. I don't really care. I don't try to convince crazy people to agree with me. I care about voters in the middle. There are some people who supported Trump who have walked away. That's good. But generally speaking, I want voters in the middle. I want voters on the left to turn out and vote against the man, and voters in the middle to realize how dangerous he is. Voters, I think it's a waste of time trying to convince Trump voters, to turn on Trump because it's a cult. Why? How are you going to convince cultists to leave a cult leader? But Elon, yeah, Elon is also incredible. Elon Musk is incredibly transparent too. He wants something from Donald Trump, and that's why he's supporting Trump. I think he wants money for his business or whatever it is, but he wants something, and therefore he's the biggest Trump supporter. And I hate the left. And blah, blah, blah. I think a lot of it is Elon wants something from Trump. He just, like I said, he's very transparent in my eyes, at least. Thank you, Chazak. I mean, you could try messaging me here for starters, Vadim, on TikTok. I think people can message me. I think. Well, I have to at least check. I mean, I'll check the messages. Yeah, Elon's a transphobe. Yeah, his daughter's transgender, and that kind of freaked him out too. Thank you, Karuna, for the confetti. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate it. What else, guys? I'm still feeling a little sick today, so we won't. Well, maybe at the hour mark we'll stop because I'm very tired. So it's like a little cold or something going on, a little sore throat cold thing. Not bad, but just enough that I had tea last night and then had horrific heartburn in my sleep all night. And I don't know whether it was the tea. It was some kind of a ginger spice tea. And I'm kind of wondering whether the tea did it, to be honest. So I'm not sure I want to try that tea again. It might've been the tea. It might've been, the Tylenol or whatever I took as well. Could have been, I was thinking the ginger might've been. It's one of those where you get into bed and you're going, oh no, like heartburn in bed when you're trying to sleep. Good luck, Thank you, Marsha. But yeah, I'm just very tired. I've been tired anyway, but this being sick, a little bit of being sick has just made me totally wasted. It's okay. Okay. Thanks, Vadim. Yeah. Sorry about that. I just want to be careful, yeah. Turning 45. Exactly, Jonathan. Exactly. Thank you, Masha. What else, guys? Election stuff, Ukraine stuff. This is the part of the show we just hang and talk. So, armed militias are hunting FEMA. I haven't seen what the latest is about the FEMA stuff. Let me see. FEMA threats. What were the latest on that? Oh, good. Man arrested. That's great. North Carolina man threatened FEMA employees. Of course he did. North Carolina man accused of threatening FEMA employees working on hurricane recovery. FEMA is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is the agency of the federal government that deals with disasters, hurricanes, things like that. Trump has been attacking them, lying, oh, they're not giving any help to people because they don't want to help Republicans. So big surprise, some of the people not being helped are getting angry and picking up guns because Trump lied to them. What a surprise. As leaders and experts continue to sound the alarm over disinformation about hurricanes Helene and Milton, authorities have arrested a man in western North Carolina who allegedly had threatened to harm FEMA employees working on storm recovery efforts. William Jacob Parsons, 44, was armed with a rifle and a handgun when he was arrested Saturday. He was charged with going armed to the terror of the public. Well, that's an interesting phrase. Parsons, who did not immediately respond, was released on $10,000 bond. Amid a horde of wild conspiracy theories about the hurricanes, which Trump and his allies have seized on as they seek to politicize the tragedies, recovery and relief efforts have been disrupted. Parsons' alleged threat led to FEMA pausing door-to-door outreach for about a day. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Because of the guy's threat, they had to close down their outreach when they go door-to-door to make sure people are okay and what help they need. The federal government had to shut down the outreach they were doing, like door-to-door to help people affected by the hurricane because of this idiot. Wow. Listen to this. Meteorologists have also faced death threats and heightened harassment. They're going after weathermen and weather girls because the Trump people claimed that the hurricane was like faked. It was created by Democrats. Remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene was the top Trump supporter in the House. She claimed that they control the weather. Weather women. I know. I thought of weather women, but weather women sounds so goofy. I had a weather girl. I was being funny, but weather women, weather people. Yeah. Wow. Weather people are getting threatened with violence because of these idiots. This is how fascism happens, folks. This is how it happens. Amazing. Meteorologist. There you go. Yeah, but I didn't use the word meteorologist because we're dealing with a bunch of foreigners, Luna. I fear when I'm dealing with foreigners that they don't know all these words. That's why I avoid the word meteorologist. I try to avoid big words when dealing with a third of our audience is international, non-American. So that's why I try to be careful. Dems control the weather. Exactly. Republicans are upset that Democrats control the weather. Jews do too, but the Jews have space lasers, a little bit different. Actually, the conspiracy theory about Jews is that they control the weather too. No, I mean, but these people are idiots. But, then again, these people who are idiots go all the way to Donald Trump. So big surprise, very sad. Thank you. Offer love. Appreciate that. Exactly. Vote for the party that can control the weather. It's a good idea, actually. We should say that. Oh, yeah, Janice. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's top Trump supporter in the U.S. House of Representatives, said a while back that the forest fires in California were being caused by Jewish space lasers. That like Jews had lasers in outer space and they were somehow using them to like blow up the forest or whatever it was. I don't know. It's very weird. Gays controlling hurricanes. Oh, that's true. I forgot about that, Gunther. That is true. I forgot about that. That is true. Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson and those guys used to claim whenever hurricanes hit, New Orleans and stuff, like Louisiana, that it was because of the gays and because of the witches and all those kind of. They had like a whole list of people, but it was like the gays especially caused abortion as well. Caused God to lift its veil of protection, they would say, and God let the hurricanes hit the South because the gays. It was like, sure, Mary, sure. Gays can do that. Yes, be nice to the gays. They can do that. Be very nice to the gays. They can control the weather too. Gays, Jews, and Democrats can all control the weather. Thank you, Flower Lady. So be nice to all three. We have a lot of stupid people, sadly, 912. Sadly, but truly. Oh, man. Yeah, like I said, at the hour, we're going to stop because I can tell I'm just I'm still not 100%. I mean, I never got fully sick, but I'm not well either. So I can tell when I do the show, I get tired. Yeah. Yeah, it's Philip. That's not how you spell weird. And also that's not English. That's the other problem. That's not an actual sentence in English, believe it or not. That doesn't make sense. Thank you, Danan. We have a troll, but I love, again, foreign trolls. Like, the thing is, what would possess you to go like to an English language forum and try to troll in English? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? It just kind of blows my mind. Hold on, my brother is messaging me about Zelle. Hold on. Well, do we know, Emil? Emil is saying Ukrainian F-16 shot down an Su-35. Is this a new story? I mean, do we know any? This was a story from a couple days ago, and we didn't sort of hear anything more about it that day. Is there more news out about it now? I did not see today. Thank you, Bo, for the heart. You know, I mean, there was some other guy. Again, he was another Republican. There was another guy that had guns that was like near Trump or something. But again, he was a Republican. Again, it was like, really? I mean, maybe, these Republicans need to start, or Republicans need to start kind of paying attention to their own, I think, because the first guy that tried to shoot Trump was a Republican. Second guy had like Republican leanings, I think. And this third guy, at least, who did not try to shoot Trump, but he had guns nearby Trump, also appeared to be a Republican. Let me see F-16 Ukraine and see. That's from 2 days ago. Yeah, there's nothing. It was an alleged story 2 days ago. Actually, Kyiv Post looked into it a day ago. Let me see. Actual hard evidence is pretty thin. Yeah, so there's no evidence of it yet. That was my concern, Emil. There was just no evidence of it. So you lie. Who am I voting for? Kamala Harris, please. I mean, we've got literally a fascist trying to take over our government who's a pig, who hates America, who loves our enemies, who's a thief, who's too old, who tried to violently overthrow the government. I mean, please, who am I voting for? You jest. Thank you, Nisha, for the heart. My ass gets stranded at Coachella. That's funny. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. I'm a little tired today. Otherwise, I would have had an even better response to who I'm voting for. But not tired. Like I said, I'm a little under the weather. So I'm not as adept as I normally would be. It rained here in Chicago today. Did do that, Julian. Yeah, a lot of these Republicans, though, like with guns near Trump. I mean, kind of weird. So, what else we got, guys? What else is going on? Do not lean back. That's funny. Shouldn't make a difference, but you never know. Sasha is good. She is asleep in the little, I can try to show you. I can show you guys at least. She's asleep in the little bed beneath me, looking all cute, all bundled up in her little harness. So I think you could probably get a decent shot of her down there. Not too much light, but hopefully. A Russian jet crash and 2 men, 2 crew member died. That's good. I have a COVID test. No, my nephew was sick first, tested himself for COVID. It wasn't COVID. It's not strep. So kind of assuming since I'm in the same house, I got the same thing, man, but the painter is here today. I can tell something's bothering my throat now. Are we winning? Depends which country. I think in both countries we're kind of tied. I mean, Ukraine is losing a little bit to Russia. Thank you, Bo. And Kamala Harris is kind of tied with Trump. So it's very scary on all fronts right now. Yeah, your uncle's an idiot, Annie. My uncle, who's a Republican, isn't voting for well, I mean, okay, if he's a Republican, I guess that's good that he's not voting this year because he doesn't like Kamala but hates Trump. Okay. I mean, that's at least better that he's not voting for Trump. He still should vote for Harris, but at least, it's at least good that Republicans who would normally vote for Trump are sitting out. That's good. I said idiot, but that's actually quite good, actually. Still should vote for her because give me a break. What's she going to do? I mean, she did give an answer. She gave an answer on reparations today. Oh, God. I mean, she's in favor of like investigating reparations for slavery, which I'm sorry, but I just think is ridiculous. And she gave an answer on it today. And I was like, really? 3 weeks before the election? She should have just blown it off. But she's afraid of blowing it off because I'm like pissing off the black voters. But I'm like, reparations is a great. Kamala's not a fraud. Donald Trump's a fraud. Kamala Harris is about as milquetoast as you can get. She's a lawyer. She's a prosecutor. She's intelligent. She's a woman. What you really mean is she's a woman. Is what you really mean there. Hey, Hannah from Kyiv. Yeah, there's clearly something. My nephew got it too, Paula. Yeah, and he's got to fly tomorrow, I think. He's like, ugh. Yeah, that's interesting. User 5529. So there were reports that the North Koreans are blowing up railway tracks like connecting North Korea or going towards the south of North Korea. So you got South Korea, North Korea on top. They're blowing up a bunch of the railway tracks here, like trying to stop the South from a potential invasion. And the thinking is, this was Phillips O'Brien, who's a good defense expert from Scotland, I think, on Twitter today. O'Brien was saying it's possible that that the North Koreans are planning on giving a lot of support to the Russians in Ukraine, a lot of men, and they're worried about their own security and they're blowing up the bridges and stuff just to ensure that it's harder for the South to invade. Not that the South is ever going to invade, but I mean, maybe, who knows? But how do you trust a woman? Somebody asked you. What a weird question. She said, how do I trust you? What a weird question. You trust your mother? That's what I would have said. Do you trust your mother? How do you trust a woman? What a ridiculous thing to say. Could be training too. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Joshua, could be. Make it harder for people to get out. True. Blowing up roads. Interesting. Yeah. Maybe it is military training. They're always preparing for the big war. Prevent North Korean soldiers from defecting. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. That's actually a very good point too. Right. It doesn't just stop the South from invading. It stops the North from leaving, blowing up bridges and roads and stuff. Very, very true. Yeah, of course they said, Julian. Yeah, I would love to come, Hannah. I've been wanting to go. It's just never been the right time, and then I've got a dog, which sounds stupid, but like somebody taking care of her for a week or two would be difficult. She's old, so. But I've been wanting to come. I've been dying to come. Actually, I will absolutely visit. Thank you. I will let people know when I'm coming. So, right. Exactly. East Germany built a wall. Exactly. Oh boy. Oh, excuse me. Oh boy. What else, guys? Like I said, actually, it's already been an hour. We may not go too much longer because, like I said, I'm not feeling too well. We need to do a group trip. That would be fun, actually. That would be fun. Where are we going? We're going to Ukraine someday, apparently. But it would be fun to plan like a group trip of some kind to go to Ukraine. That would be fun. We'll have to see. We will have to see a fan meeting. That would be fun. And do it in Kyiv. Yeah. Get Yulia there. Well, certainly if I go, we'd have to see. We don't want to get like bombed by the Russians. Once the war is over, we don't have to worry about it. I'd be a little worried when I'm there telling the Russians where we're all meeting, but not that we matter, but still, Do I believe the polls? Yeah, to a degree. Look, the polls aren't necessarily telling us anything we don't know. Trump has a lot of support. It's crazy. People are stupid, right? And people kind of like fascism. I mean, I'm not like I'm not really surprised that things are tied. I think we kind of should have figured a lot of Republicans were going to support him because that's who they are as a party. They're very weak. I mean, they're weak, like minded and weak hearted. So, I obviously hoped she'd be doing better, but the thing is, I'm very convinced it's a tie. I do believe that. The polls, yes. Not the Polish people. We believe the Polish people. I'm not sure I believe the number polls. Not believe them, but I think it's hard to know. What's actually going on because, as we said the other day, Trump typically does better in actual voting than the polls show, but Democrats the last 2 years have done better in actual voting than the polls show because of abortion. So which way is that going to go this time? I don't know. I did not see it. There may very well have been a Republican poll today showing good news for Harris. I did not see it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Right, swing states are always the issue, right? Some of the polls today were showing her 2 points ahead nationally, which is kind of a tie, though, really. But Yeah, I've seen those big hawk. I looked up those things about doing trips. You know, it's a bit of a scam to some degree because, like, they require me to still pay my lodging. I think actually, or no, I have to pay my airfare, but the lodging might be free. It's like it's it's not really free. It's not a free trip for starters, which is a little annoying to me. But any case, I'd have to see. I've looked at those. They're interesting. They're interesting at least. You know, they'd be worth a try just for fun. Yeah, Georgia had a lot of early voting today, Keps. I was mentioning earlier, they were saying like blowout early voting in Georgia. Typically, early voting helps Democrats more than Republicans. So that could be a big deal. It did hail here today as well in Chicago area. Yeah, pressure on Bush Republican endorser, and he should. He absolutely should. My favorite Kamala achievement is becoming vice president as a black woman in America. That's my favorite achievement because I don't know anybody else who's become vice president. It's pretty damn accomplished, if you ask me. So, and putting a lot of people behind bars because I happen to be tough on crime. So the fact that she was a prosecutor, I think kicks ass. Actually, her third biggest achievement, another biggest achievement was kicking Donald Trump's ass the other week in a debate, making him look like an old fool. That was absolutely glorious to me. She took a fascist pig who hates America, who hates the troops, and she kicked his ass and showed that he doesn't even know what's going on anymore. That was pretty freaking cool. So yeah, lots of accomplishments, I'd say. So kicking Trump's ass benefits America. Putting people behind bars benefits America. Yeah. And actually becoming the vice president was because she beat Trump the last time. That benefited America a shitload. Otherwise, we'd have more people dying from COVID. The economy would be in the shitter. Our stocks wouldn't be doing as well. Russia would be soaring. Our enemies would be loving it. Our enemies would be succeeding. Our friends would be failing. Yeah, you want to talk about that? 4 years ago when Trump was president, we were all dying. We couldn't even buy toilet paper. So yeah, you want to talk about benefiting America? You can literally buy toilet paper today. You couldn't do it under Donald Trump. So you don't like toilet paper? Feel free to go to Russia. Your friends over there don't even have toilets. So the country you all want us to emulate. So be my guest. So, who knows if the election will go to the Supreme Court? I mean, there may not be a need for it to go to the Supreme Court, but the Republicans are going to lie about it clearly, and they're going to go violent again. I mean, and I think Democrats are prepared this time. They're going to go, this guy is a fascist pig. He is going to do everything, including openly embracing and fomenting violence to try to steal this election. And it is our job to stop him. Period. So, yeah, tariffs. He's also going to raise inflation massively. He's planning on raising the price of all Chinese goods 20% coming into the U.S., which means your prices are going to go up 20%. I mean, and even Fox News asked him about it finally. Maria Bartiromo on Fox News went, the prices have got to be paid by somebody. Yeah. So, yep. And Harris is going to be on Fox News tomorrow, which is very cool. Make toilet paper great again. Actually, that's a great line. All right. Anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to go because I'm still just feeling kind of crappy. And I just realized I haven't done any TikTok videos. I've got to do a couple TikTok videos just because I've got to do a couple every day. And I'm still not feeling totally well. I mean, I'm sort of feeling like I did yesterday. I'm kind of not feeling better, but I'm, Yeah, the assassination attempts, those were Republicans. Nice try, Vanilla Baby. The first guy was a registered Republican. The last guy with guns, this third one was also a Republican. By the way, have you Googled these stories? Did you actually bother reading? Democrats are big on reading. I know Republicans, it kind of depends, but Democrats, big on reading. Read before you comment. It is going to benefit you so much in life. So, all right, guys, have a good night. Now that we've schooled another Trumper on expanding his brain a little bit, just a little bit, like the Grinch expanding his heart. Expand your brain just a little bit and you'll be happy. All right. See you guys. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Now off to do some TikTok videos. All right. See y'all.